I'm walking in the park again because it's supposed to rain after today for about a week. So I've made a commitment to getting outside when it's most suitable. That's part of my WHAM plan, Wellness, Happiness, Activity Map. And the algorithm goes, well, one of the first questions is it sunny outside? If it's yes, that changes the activities that I'm going to pick from. I'm not going to sit inside on my computer when it's nice outside, living in the part of the world that I do, when it can go for long stretches where it's very rainy. And to go with my commitment to being outside and being more in my body, getting more exercise and doing more fun activities, I'm really not about the gym or activities that are really forceful, but things like rollerblading, tennis, walking, things that are fun. Some people find the gym fun, but I don't. I do lift a little bit of weights at home and bounce on my mini trampoline, and that's fun. So whatever's fun for each person, but I'd rather be outside walking than bouncing on my trampoline inside when it's nice out. But my trampoline can be taken outside. So when it's even nicer, I can take my trampoline somewhere nice and bounce on it. That would be fun. But what I was going to talk about is how yesterday I went to the mall, which I never do. But my intention was to get a tennis racket. And man, that was challenging. I finally got one. I finally picked one. And it was like a $230 racket on sale for $100. And I wanted to get a good piece of equipment because the thing is, when trying something, I've tried tennis before, but not for years. I don't want to be fighting against crappy equipment and thinking, well, I don't like this because I'm not very good, but really the instrument is not very good. So I'm not sure if it's the appropriate racket, but I got a good one. And I wanted to get other equipment too, but I kind of chickened out. I got a tennis racket. Oh, what a beautiful bird. I've never quite heard that before. And if I have, it's very new right now. Hello, beautiful birdie. I hear you. Birdie. See, it's listening to me. Tweet, 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 tweet. Anyway, I don't know. Oh yeah, the tennis racket. And then I got running shoes because I haven't bought running shoes in like 6 years. And mine have holes in them. And they were kind of expensive. But again, I picked one that was on sale. I got them for like $100 when they were $200 shoes. So sometimes it's nice to pay a little bit more for something that's really reduced in price that would cost extra if it wasn't on sale. So instead of getting an $80 pair on regular price, I got a $200 pair for $20 more, but it's a way higher quality shoe. And it's really colorful. I'll show them later. This is the pair of shoes I got. I basically just picked the most colorful ones. Yeah, can't get much more colorful than that. And that. And my colorful magical backpack. I'm starting to see a theme. Wandering around, being active and crazy, dressed in bright colors. And this is the racket I got. Oh yeah, so regular, that I paid $89 plus tax, so about $100. And this one has some crazy smart sensor ready thing, and it shows a phone. So I think this has some kind of smart technology in it that might say something about the swing or how hard you hit it or something. So that's kind of cool. I like technology sometimes. So step one, tennis. And then I got a racket for a friend, so I'll have someone to play with. Well, it's their racket. I almost wanted to get a second one so I could have it on hand if someone wants to play with me who doesn't have a racket. Maybe I'll do that. So that was good because I've talked to myself about how I spend too much on like vitamins and things to prevent crisis and bipolar this and bipolar that. So it's good to be body this and body that. And then I was going to buy a jacket, but then somebody gave me a jacket that very day. And so yeah, here I am outside walking. That's good. I do have quite a bit of other stuff to do though, because this morning I spoke with Peter Smith of balancingbrainchemistry.co.uk, and I was talking with him about the strategies for the upcoming crisis. He talks about taking certain remedies, so knowing that I'm going to have a crisis, it's not like I don't know when it's going to happen. I want to know the timing of what to take when, what to take when I'm feeling suicidal, what to take on a daily basis, what to take only when I'm feeling suicidal or really depressed, what to stop taking right before the crisis, what to stop taking right after. And so he and I discussed, and I'm going to stop taking tyrosine and rhodiola, which both boost dopamine, a couple of weeks before the crisis will hit, the hitting the wall event, and then also start taking things that help to boost neuroplasticity, like magnolia bark, continuing the bacopa, taking skullcap, and then ones I can take when I'm feeling suicidally depressed after the crisis, like inositol and uridine. And then, yeah, stuff like that. I'm going to make a video for myself outlining the whole plan, like from start to finish, because that way I can refer to that video or audio instead of having to try to read through stuff, when sometimes that's really hard at that point. So I'll have it in writing, but I'll also have it on video and audio for myself to refer to during that time. So I'll go through all the details. But basically, with his help, I did figure out that I likely won't need the branched chain amino acids unless I feel totally super manic and high. But I won't take that once the crisis hits and I go into depression. So yeah, I will outline all those things for myself in a separate video. And then I also need, he said, to do the darkness therapy during that time. So if I do go to a sanctuary, I will need to block out the windows unless I can find something that totally blocks the light out of the eyes. And maybe if I can't, maybe I can design something like that at some point. I was imagining something that goes over the head and you can breathe. Obviously you need to breathe, but it's totally dark and it's partly soundproof with like a speaker in there so you can listen to the sound you want, or have no sound and have the sound blocked out in the outside if it's noisy from city noise and things. And also to be able to sing and shout and kind of scream if one needs to too. So making it some kind of contraption that is portable, so then one doesn't have to go like taping up the windows everywhere, because I want to be able to move around and wander, and to have to tape windows up everywhere would be challenging. So I'm going to look into that, see if there's something I can even make that sort of totally glues over the eyes at night and keeps all the light out. I don't know if that's sufficient, but we'll see. And then what else is happening? I'm having more insights lately, but I'm able to keep them slightly under wraps, which is good. And also the sound in my brain is getting louder, that sort of Schumann resonance sound that I hear. And I'm wondering if my brain is hearing the sound of its own growth, or that sound is part of the vibration that provides the substrate and the energy and the nutrients for brain cells to grow. because of that process I described that I heard about in the movie The Solar Revolution. There's these energies before the chemicals can cause the brain cells to grow. So I'm wondering about that. It is feeling a little bit grindy, which can be uncomfortable. But it's not too bad today. It's only at certain times. And I'm wondering if when I get that Spire breathing device, if it'll help me to correlate this grindy energy, noisier sound with what I'm doing or where I am. So the other night too, when I was feeling really energetic, I took some recordings of my brain with the Muse device and the Muse Monitor app. And since a friend of mine showed me that I could do screen recording on the iPhone, I recorded some screen clips as opposed to just taking screenshots. So I'll put those in here. And what I noticed is that all 4 points are very uniform, and they're in like the 800 and something millivolt range. When I've had distress before, the temporal lobe has been really uppity. And also I noticed that the 33 hertz band is a lot higher, and there's even some at like 34. It seemed like there was a broad range of more higher peaks of energy going on in some of the different screenshots. So I don't know what it all means, but I'm sort of keeping track now, or at least this one time. And I want to do it again when I'm feeling really energetic and creative, and maybe also save the raw data. Just doing these little experiments. It's hard to keep track of them all, but just keep going with experimentation, because I don't know what it all means, and maybe one day I can figure it out or not. I think the point is to experiment, not to really hold the results in mind and try to transpose them onto the future, but just seeing the correlations in moments as opposed to trying to make it into some causation, because I'm really seeing that there's not really causation, but in certain states, certain traits and behaviors manifest. And that goes along with the whole notion that there's no self, there's no me, but there are states, and those states produce certain behaviors and traits. So I think part of the fallacy of this whole mental illness and the current mental health paradigm is that there is no self to fix. Part of the problem is being like, I want it to be consistent. So I am having more of these subtle insights, and they're not too intense, but I do want to talk about some of them because they seem to make sense. They seem to be not telling me. It's in that state. There's access to these other bits of information that I can speak out loud to myself or other people one day, maybe, I don't know, but it's this whole oneness and non-separation and no division thing that's hard to navigate. And I don't think there's anything I can do to prevent the whole crisis and fall that's going to happen. It just seems to be what's happening. So when I'm in these other spaces, harvesting some of that too and talking to myself about it, because at some point I'll just be feeling sorry for myself and grumpy and shameful and blameful and guilty and hateful and angry. But right now there's none of that.